Danny Smith, say no more. No, really, shut up.
I think I'll be getting her some manners for Christmas. There you go. 6.5 minutes to 6 o'clock. We've got Lisa Pearson with us, our very own lifestyle correspondent, and we're talking Christmas presents. Now, I've got to read out a couple of messages that we've had in from Facebook. We've been asking about the best and worst presents, and Jenny said the best present she ever got was a guitar, which sounds like a very good idea. Obviously, somebody must have had an inkling that she wanted to play, or that she was already into it and she wanted to get a better guitar, something like that. But she said the worst present she ever got was seeds from her grandmother. And then also Roma says that the best present she ever got was a surprise anniversary and Christmas trip to Paris. The worst present was knitted slippers that didn't even fit.
Wow, Paris, that's good. That's good. The funny enough, the guitar one we're doing this year, what we sometimes do is if we think one of the kids could do with a present that is a little bit expensive, we'll do it as a family present.
Right.
So, like one year we got an Xbox Connect and we said Santa had given us a family present rather than one present each. And that's one way of working out the budget, so it works.
Yeah.
This year we're doing guitars.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna all have guitars because I just think I've always wanted to play the guitar. It's a bucket list thing, you know.
Yeah.
And I know that my kids would love it. And you can learn the guitar on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. Or you can get, books that are quite cheap and simple about
or
it.
GarageBand, because we've got Macs. So
right.
on
Okay.
GarageBand, yeah. So that's one of the things we're going to do. So that's one of my tips: is a family present can work quite well, because we're going to look at kids. But if you're buying for your own kids, you will not ruin them if you can't afford to buy what they want or to buy it first hand.
Yeah.
Right. If you're buying for someone else's kids, ask them, because they are pretty much going to have problems with money right now. So it's fine to ask what they would like.
Yeah.
Those are the two kind of overriding kind of rules.
Well, I think it's, with kids as well, I suppose, you say, what do you want for Christmas? They'll draw up a list, and they have no real concept, do they, of money and of how things get paid for. And even as they get older, they don't really understand. And so they just answer the question. They'll tell you everything they want. And there'll be no, in their minds, there'll be no sort of filtering of thinking, oh, well, they probably can't really afford that this year, so I'll scale that down a bit. They'll just say what they want. Now, I'm sure that like you said there, it's not going to ruin. In fact, you're probably more likely to ruin them if you got them everything they wanted.
Much more so. The only problem with Christmas is, of course, Santa Claus, because there's no. I mean, actually, my son is nearly 7. He understands price. He understands there's a limit, but the answer is, well, Santa Claus can get the expensive ones. And so I said, well, yeah, but the problem with the expensive ones is they take up a lot of time, and actually that's a bit more complicated. He can't be giving everybody those big presents.
Yeah.
That was my answer.
Fair enough.
But I am a bit mean about presents sometimes. I don't want to ruin their imagination. So they don't need things that answer everything. They don't need the kitchen, the great big huge kitchen that's going to take up all the room. They don't need things that's going to take up room that we don't have. They don't need plastic tat. They don't need things that aren't going to last long. They don't need those dancing dolls or creatures that are going to cost you 40 quid and they're going to get bored of them. They tell you they're going to get bored of them if there's no imagination. They do need to go outside. So they need balls, they need scooters, they need bikes, but bikes don't last. They can get them secondhand. I got a secondhand bike when I was a kid. There's no harm in that.
Right. We've got an email here actually from Jeff, who said that he said that his son wants, what does he say here? He says, my son has been asking for a Christmas present for a bike now for ages.
Right.
And then just the other week, when I said to him, what do you want from Santa Claus for Christmas then? And he says, I want a pool table. And he said he was horrified. He said, because they just gone and bought him a bike. And he goes, why do you want a pool table now? And from Santa, he goes, well, because I've just found a bike behind the wardrobe, so I want a pool table.
Oh, no, that is terrible.
May not be true, but thanks for sending that in nonetheless.
And actually, I had a couple of people say, Emily said she bought Duplo. Do you know what Duplo is?
Oh, it's like big Lego, isn't it? Yeah.
Perfect. She bought that all secondhand.
Right.
Kept the kids happy for like years. Molly's bought a doll's house. Doll's houses are really expensive. Buy them secondhand. They're just as good as new. In fact, Jenny said she bought a well-loved dinosaur secondhand. It was already well-loved, and it's still well-loved 4 years later.
Right.
So secondhand is absolutely fine. In fact, we got Max Tracy Island for 50p at a school fair, which actually is worth loads.
I want Tracy Island for Christmas. Never had Tracy Island for Christmas. It's been on my list for years.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. You can come and play.
Oh, good.
It'll be fun. So that is definitely one of the things. The other thing is, if you're going to have a system like Lego, stick to one system. I'm not being funny. We don't have massive houses, all of us, do we, nowadays? You can't have Lego and Connect and Meccano and everything. So do your research, pick the system that works for your kid, stick to it.
Yeah. And you could probably buy, I imagine that, you know, if you look around second-hand shops and things, you probably buy like a bucket of Lego.
Yeah.
Now, of course, like the kids want the box because it's got the pirates thing on the front of it, or the castle, or whatever it might be. But you could probably get the building instructions off of the internet, can't
No, but
you?
actually, one of the mums said, don't buy the ones that are made up into a fire, you know, something like a fire service or a boat or whatever. They said, if you're going to buy Lego, buy the mix, because otherwise you take their imagination away. They're only going to want to build that one thing. It's going to be massive. It's going to sit on a shelf and it's never going to be built again.
But I'm sure with the internet now, you can probably get lots of different ideas and suggestions. So you could always put like a bucket of Lego together and print off a couple of ideas and put them in with the present.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And, or, you know, things like the wooden trains, you can buy all that secondhand. The other thing is, buy things that will keep giving. So buy a little bit older than they are now, like a train set, and then you can keep giving them bits and pieces for it over the years.
Sure. Okay.
That works really well as well. Ban children's telly with adverts for the next 2 months.
Yeah, get some sort of catch-up TV type service where you can skip all the adverts. That's the answer. Right, now, very, very quickly, if people want to find out more about some of your thoughts and ideas on all sorts of lifestyle-related things, you have a blog, don't you?
That's right. It's called mummywhisperer.com. mummywhispererblog.com.
All right, we'll link to that from our in fact we are linked to it from our blog, so people can go to westsuchdrivetime.radioverulam.com. It's one of the ones listed there. Thanks very much. We'll speak to you again soon.